right, so just a heads up, I'm gonna be up here doing stand-up. Because I have no album to drop. I don't. How y'all doing tonight? This is the first time, well, second time I've ever been out here to Long Beach. What's up? Thank you so much. Thank you for the warm welcome. Yes. Just right quick before I go in, does anybody have eyes on homeless Machine Gun Kelly out there? Oh, good. This is not good, but that's a longer discussion. There's a lot to unpack, but he's all right. We good. Yes. Well, he tried to beat the building up with his shoe. Man. I seen Quantumania. I heard buildings got issues with people, so. True. If clearly, if it wasn't my name dropping Quantumania, I'm clearly a black nerd, so I love like comic books and superheroes and things like that. I like to go in on things of that nature. I'm also very good looking for a nerd. My body count is like 5. Really, it's like 12. But like the rest of them outside of the 5 are like, have you paid for your subscription yet? I'm originally from Houston, Texas, by way of Ivory Coast, hence the last name. Thank you so much. I hear there are talented people that come from there. Patrick Swayze, Beyonce, Lizzo. That's all I know. All right, so how's everybody doing? How's everyone doing? I really love this crowd tonight. Y'all are so warm.
It's so good.
It really is. Listen, I almost forgot your name. Please, can you please tell me your name one more time? Yes, our headliner. Lucy, thank you so much. Named after the first lady that was ever found. Technically a black woman. I love it. It's also the name of that Luc Besson movie with Scarlett Johansson. It's also a great name. Anyway, the reason why I picked you out of the crowd, I had a question. I didn't know how to like really like go about this. I have singles. I have singles. See, again, another conversation. Too much to unpack there. No, the reason I bring it up is I was just like, I really love this. I love burlesque. I follow another burlesque performer. She's the Witty Titty out of New York City. Yeah, but I was just like, I have these singles. How do I give them to you? Because, you know, I thought about that, but I didn't want to like demean the art form because like if you like throw them on, isn't it like no longer burlesque? It's like a strip thing. Okay, so I just Kamehameha in the air. This is good. I'll remember that when you do the 2.0. Oh my God. It'll be easier. I also worry about you tripping over it. You know.
It took a long time.
Oh, I got you. Oh, all right.
I appreciate you.
Of course. So, please tell me something else. When you come up with like songs, are they like all sad? Is there like a happy one in the mix somewhere in there? Somewhere. At least it's there. Because it also made me think of this other thing as I recently watched. I don't know if you guys, again, superheroes. I watched Peacemaker on HBO Max. Or I'm sorry, it's called Max now, whatever the fuck. Nobody asked them to change the fucking name, but here we are. Yeah, I watched Peacemaker on HBO Max, and for whatever random reason, John Cena's kidnapping a couple, and they go in on each other for their music choices, and just this little tidbit, someone brought up Foster the Kids Pumped Up Kicks. Apparently that song is about murder. I didn't realize that. I did not realize that at all. So it just made me think of all sorts of songs that I just wasn't really like listening to at all. That were like probably really sad or really violent. Just wondering. In any case, I have jokes because this is really getting quiet. I'm also a teacher. Teachers are, can you give it up for teachers right quick before I go into this? They are a blessed breed, let me tell you. About 1 in every 6 kids is like, on the spectrum. And that's a little hard to navigate in a classroom. So big ups to you from one teacher to another. Small story time about me being a teacher. I didn't realize it at the time, but I had incurred the wrath of some second graders at my old job before I quit. So here's how it goes. I was just like an after school teacher, basically looking after kids, while they're playing around after school. And I was talking to one child and another one had run up to me since I am so tall. I know you can't tell because I sat down. But yeah, I stand at 6'3", so every kid wants to like fly for some reason. They don't want to ever like stay on the ground. So one child decided to like come at me while my guard was down, while I was talking to another kid about how his jump shot is not that terrible. And she insisted on being picked up. So I carry up Kelsey Ann, is her name. I hold Kelsey Ann up like she's like an Oscar, but I kind of just stopped paying attention after a while. But Kelsey Ann decides to think that, my holding her up is like a swing apparently. It didn't work out too well. So she tries swinging her feet and she falls back and she just, she does the thing where kids like get quiet for 6 seconds before the real tears come flying out their fucking lungs, like the day they were born. And I freak out, naturally. So I pick her up, give her an ice pack, put like my big old, not this jacket, but a huge old trench coat on her back so she looked like Batman for a little bit, so it made her feel better. And her parents abruptly came and picked her up as soon as I got up. So as soon as she heard about her parents coming to pick her up, she handed it back, no problem, and went home, dried her tears like nothing happened. So because I strictly worked after school, I had no access to any of the kids at all during the day. So I come in at about 3 and I get to the school and I go to the recess or the play yard or what have you. And there's some kids, playing some basketball, playing soccer, 1 or 2 kids are playing tag. And then some kids like arguing, second grade age, like 8-year-olds off in the corner somewhere, they stop arguing, see me, and they stare at me. And then the 2 kids who were playing tag that I mentioned earlier, they stop running, slow down, and stare at me. Not like a comfy, oh, there he is, he's got candy, but more like, oh my God, it's like Children of the Corn scary. Like, all of a sudden, they just mean mugged me like I stole their pudding or some mess like that. So I don't think anything of it until study hall comes around, because for whatever reason, the schools decide that if you want to have kids playing outside, let's just remind them that they have homework, because that's just going to set them up for bills for life. Anyway, so I sit down in this library, kind of like where I'm sitting now. There's like this big old desk in front of me, and all the kids are just tearing pages out of books, doing other shit kids do. And they come up on me like Alfred Hitchcock's birds. So like 2 of them like get up and like sit right to my right, and they just stare at me and don't move. 3 of them rise up, like slow rise up like Insidious, and just stare at me from the front too. And this little white girl, her name was Channing, not like Channing Tatum, Channing, naturally. Sides up to me, right? And then like throws her arm over my shoulder and says, Mr. K, we have a question for you. And my heart starts racing. Now, again, 6'3", I'm sitting down. I clearly take in how diminutive my form was. And I asked, no, I don't know what's going on. Why don't you tell me, Channing? What's up? We heard you hurt Kelsey Ann. And I said, I don't know what you mean. Well, she told us a few things. So apparently, just to fill you in, Kelsey Ann decided to tell the rest of second grade that I not only dropped her on purpose, not on accident, but I stomped on her as well. Apparently, so the rest of the second graders pretty much had like a vendetta against me, pretty much building up to that point. And my number was up. So I had to like literally just like stand up and be like, I need you to give me some space. I'm gonna stand over here and let y'all know this was an accident. I didn't tell Kelsey Ann to swing her feet when I picked her up. She did that on her own. You know, they kind of backed off after a little bit, especially after she got like a sling and a cast. They still kept shooting me like ugly looks. But from that moment forward, I decided, you know, outside of the heartbreak that I clearly felt, maybe teaching isn't for me. So I quit promptly about 2 months afterwards. That, and I was also wrestling like 2 jobs, and I fell asleep at the wheel kind of getting to the second one. So that was a much bigger reason. But yeah, that's the story of how I got charged up by some second graders and quit teaching. So kudos to you. Please give another hand for those teachers out there, because they would have handled it much better than I did. And so I have another quick story. This is a time I decided I was going to be like the cool guy and try to tell like really nice, awesome stories to like get them to learn. But again, kids like to challenge you. So, small tidbit about teaching kids, or at least what I tend to believe, is like if they get too deep into your personal business, they know too much. So, one of the leading questions I always get, and I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this, is how old are you? Do you have a boyfriend? Do you have kids? Do you have dogs? Do you ever punch kids? Someone actually asked me if I punch kids. I didn't know what to tell them except no, unless to play tag. So I told these kids that I'm not 29 years old, I'm actually 29. I told them I was 250. And that I met Jesus and he still owes me money. And then I also just kept upping the ante, and I said that, you know, I also met Gandhi. He was low-key racist. Just saying. And so one of the kids challenged me and asked, what do you mean by that? Well, I want you to check this out. So I tell him to go to Google. He looks it up, right? He looks up this speech that Gandhi said about darker Indians around the time when he was alive, before he decided to go on his hunger strike. And the kid came back to me and told me, he was white, clearly. This happened in the past, Mr. K, and there's no way you could have possibly been in the back. Maybe I should report you, because you're clearly lying to kids about their age. He's not cluing in that I'm joking. So I lean in really close and I tell him, you know, Jeremiah, it's none of your business how old I am. You just have to do your homework and go home. So if you really want to know my age, I'm 29 years old and I have all the patience in the world for whatever your mom gives me. Needless to say, from that point forward, I never got any problems from Jeremiah again. He always had a what's up for me, and that was that. But yeah, a couple things taught me about teaching that, for a good reason why I took a hiatus from it. First things first, you also have to always know yourself. You can't go in thinking that you can just scare kids just because you're taller or bigger than them. You certainly can't take out your dreams not coming true out on them, because I saw a lot of that too coming up. And you always have to be comfortable and prepared and be on your toes, because you never know what's actually coming. That's my time, I think. Thank you guys so much. I'm ready to do the Kamehameha money throw in a minute. If you guys want to check me out, I have a YouTube channel where this open mic stand-up bit is going to be on. Also, my other first open mic, where I told a bunch of white people who clearly came out of Little House on the Prairie that I look like seasoned chicken. And then I proceeded to tell them how to create seasoned chicken. It's official, KCMY, KASSYAMOI on Instagram, and KCMY on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you so